Bonjour, Creator. I give thanks for this day. I give thanks for the sun, the air, the water, and Mother Earth. I pray for our physical, spiritual, emotional, and mental well-being. I pray for the children and the infants, young people, adults, old and elderly. And we pray for all of those who may be sick and ailing. We pray for their well-being and recovery. Watch over us, Creator, through this day. Support us and guide us in all that we say and all that we do. We pray for the birds, the insects, the fish, and the four-legged. We pray for all of creation. I pray, Almighty Creator, in thanksgiving for this tobacco, the sweet grass, the sage, the cedar, and all of the medicines which help to heal. I pray, Almighty Creator, for Mishomas, Nokmas, and the early morning star watching over us through this day. And say, Miigwech, 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 Miigwech.
And over the years, Peggy has taken time to learn firsthand from many Anishinaabe teachers about ceremonies, powwows, and gatherings. These Anishinaabe teachings, as she will tell you, are about lifelong learning, which helps to guide her in all aspects of her life, whether it's doing her trade crafts or talking and sharing.
You know, it wasn't until maybe a couple of years ago that I realized who I was. And you know, has Karen mentioned, like throughout my life, I've gone to a lot of ceremonies. I do lots of crafts. I go to a lot of powwows, and I talk and I share. Like some of those teachings that were given to me. And so I was sitting in a group working with students, and this young lady says, "I'm a knowledge keeper." And I looked at her and I was thinking, "Hey, that's what I am. I'm a knowledge keeper." And as a knowledge keeper, like I'm not a medicine lady. I'm not an elder per se. I'm an older person, yes, and I have all of these teachings that I that were given to me, and I transfer back to the group that I may be working with. What I could do is I could take this lace
Uh-huh.
and I'll loop it through the like that handle part, bring those two up together,
Okay.
and I could take that uh, copper bead, or
Okay.
it could be copper. I'm not sure if yours is copper or brass or silver. So we could bring those 2 points together through that circle. You can use that copper bead like
Uh-huh.
a spacer, and you could bring those 2 points together,
Yes.
bring your bead in, and slide it down, and center it. There you go.
Oh.
You can think about your color scheme.
Uh-huh.
We could do white, light blue, and then dark blue going up, or we could have it going down. So we would put, let's say, I'll do a dark blue. Well, it's just like, in the summertime in particular, like you go to the beach, and sometimes as you're going down to the beach and you're looking at the water and everything, it's a different shade of blue, and
Mm-hmm.
like it's a nice, warm and welcoming.
Yeah.
And like right now, if you were to go to the same spot, you'll see that with the temperatures beginning to get cooler, the color of the water is getting darker.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do once we have them all together,
Uh-huh.
we'll have them, make sure that it's balanced, and you could situate the beads how you want, like
Uh-huh.
right to the bottom or only part way,
Uh-huh.
and then we have those two ends on the top. So we could bring those two,
Uh-huh.
and just tie a knot, or
Oh, the same way I would with thread.
yeah, like when you're threading your thread.
Yeah.
So, and then there you go. I think it was just before COVID. I was going to a gathering in Sault Ste. Marie, and Sault Ste. Marie is a very significant area for the Anishinawbek, and that is called Bowati, and that was a gathering place for the Anishinawbek throughout time. And so at their gathering, they were going to be doing water teaching. So, my friend and I were going to be doing the powwow that weekend, and they were doing water teaching. So I go to the gathering, and we get there, and everybody's starting to form under the arbor, and so we go in and we sit down like among the group, different places, and next thing you know, the elder sitting across from me, he comes over and he says, gives me tobacco and says, "I would like you to do the water teachings." Okay, and then he goes to my friend that came with me. We're both getting up there, and he goes to her, and I'd like you to share some things about the water. And at that particular time, um, I was going through a bit of a trying time, and that had been diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and so you know and it's because of where it's located. It affects like part of the water and all of that, and so when I started that healing journey, I went to the lake and with my brother-in-law and my sister, and we did a ceremony, and so that's where like I started thinking about the water. But my friend Josephine Mendaman, she's passed now, but she had a vision about the water, and she did walks around the Great Lakes, and like for the water to be for the healing of that water, and in encouraging all of us as women, because as women we are responsible for the water, and like it starts, like because when we're being born, we're in the mother's womb and we're surrounded by water, right? And so when that water breaks, then we come out into the world, and so it's very significant, like how the water has individuals, it's significant to us. so so that's part of what the water uh and like we pray for that water, and with Josephine going around and praying for the water, like she used a copper pail, and a lot of us have like a copper, something copper, like a copper bowl, and what happens is you know we put the water in overnight in this copper pot, and then we drink it in the morning, and like as women, like maybe at that particular time we'll pray for the water, and I guess the copper is able to get rid of a lot of contaminants, and it purifies, and I think
Okay.
that's where the copper is really significant, and then when we drink it, we get that pure water, right? When we put the water in that copper pot, and we were saying we put it out overnight, so the
Uh-huh.
water that we use, we may not be using spring water. We
Hmm.
may be using tap water,
Hmm.
okay? And so what happens is that the uh, the copper pot will purify that water and make it safe to drink. Because like
Uh-huh.
um, so if I didn't have like my bundle with me, and I only had this little copper cup, I could do ceremony, eh?
Okay.
I'll put the water in there, and I know that part of the teachings of this copper pot is that you know um, you would put it in the night before,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And what'll happen is the copper will heal that water,
Yeah.
okay? And so and it's sitting there overnight, and I know as women, like I mentioned, that we're responsible for the water. So what we would do is, we could take that little water and do our prayers, eh? We're doing
Yeah.
our morning prayers and doing ceremony, eh? And I know elders I know have bought these copper pots so that if they didn't have their full bundle in their purse or on their person, they would have this little copper pot and they could do ceremony, and do those prayers and offerings, eh? And
Yeah.
then drink the water, eh?
And it,
Let's see. I think in late August, September, there was a protest down there because there was going to be aerial spraying, eh? And
Okay.
I don't know the scientific name for that the spray, um, but for myself, if I want to go and harvest medicine, I can't harvest that medicine that's contaminated. You know, like the everything gets contaminated. It's not
Mm-hmm.
just different herbs or wood shrubs or whatever that they're trying to stunt or whatever, eh?
Mm-hmm.
And I know like our people were pretty up in arms. Like, there's a big seniors group that protested that, eh, not too long ago. Well, I think some of the young people, what they might want to do is, well, not necessarily jump up in arms, like protest. Well, you know what you're protesting about,
Mm-hmm.
and like, it's one thing to protest, but then you have, like, what just exactly what you're saying is okay. What can we do to protect the water? What are the things, like in like consulting with industry, and saying, like, you've got to do something, eh? and
Mm-hmm.
and we try to work together and develop a strategy, options, like what we can do and can't do. One of the things that when I taught at the high school for about 13 years, eh? And
Mm-hmm.
from um, from during their spring session when they did their native studies and courses like that. So I was there from January to June, and education does play a role, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have our cultural background, um, and we can combine those two. Like when I say monitor your environment, eh? And you look at what's out there. What are like how are these resources going to be impacted, eh? I think that it's not just like there's other indigenous peoples around the world, like I think that are aware of different things that are happening, like like
Mm-hmm.
I like I see or I hear in the news, these whales are beaching themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So these whales are intelligent beings, and like why are they beaching themselves? Are they dying? Are they giving us a message? Like in like I'm not like an ocean person, but talk to some of those people who would be aware of something like that. Whether it's the Maori from New Zealand, like who maybe the Inuit who harvest the seals and the whales, and they rely on that for sustenance, eh?
Mm-hmm.
So when we get up in the morning, eh, and one of the first things that you do is you get up and you go to the bathroom, and you wash your face, and smudging and doing our prayer is very similar to that. And so what I would do is I would smudge, like my glasses, because I see. So so with that, we say, like we pray to the Creator, with this smudge, that I may see the things I need to see, that I may hear the things I need to hear, that I smell the things I need to smell, or appreciate, and like taste the things I need to, say the things that I need to, and that those good words will come, to us. And I say that, like has a way of starting.
No, absolutely. Okay, I'll just give one more call out if there's any questions or any comments of things you've heard today. Peggy will be available to answer questions after this webinar. We will provide her, if you have questions after and you want to share them with us, we will make sure Peggy gets them and we will reach out to you with your answers. There's one comment, no questions, but this has given me something to think about. Thank you. That's very nice. Thank you. Peggy, I appreciate you. I appreciate your time here today. And I want to thank you for coming in, and we look forward to speaking with you again. So thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Yeah. All right. Make wish to
Big wish.
everybody. Yeah. Take care.